Hello, everyone. I'm Eric D'Souza, and joining me today is Jackie Elliott, who is the author of the Coffin Cove Mystery series published by Joffrey Books. Held Half Acre, the second in the series, was shortlisted for the Crime Writers of Canada's Award of Excellence 2022 in the Whodunit Award for Best Traditional Mystery. Welcome, Jackie.
Oh, thank you.
Um, Now, I know Hell's Half Acre takes place in Coffin Cove, and the west coast of BC has some very interesting names. My parents live close or very close to Secret Cove and Smuggler's Cove on the Sunshine Coast, but I don't know where Coffin Cove is.
Coffin Cove exists only in my imagination. It isn't actually a real place at all, although it's probably a combination of various coastal towns. It has aspects of lots of different towns. It has a history of coal mining, so it's probably near to Nanaimo. It has a rich fishing, so could be Campbell River, and it's pretty remote, so it could be Banfield. So it's as a pulp mill, so it could be Port Alberni. There's lots of different aspects and lots of different places on Vancouver Island that make up Coffin Cove.
Yeah, so you said it at the end there. So Vancouver Island, it is actually quite out there, especially on the west side of it.
Yeah.
It's like standing at the end of the world, right?
Yeah, it absolutely is. Yeah.
You don't say specifically then, so it could stay rather general. Is it West Coast fishing or?
It's definitely near Nanaimo, and it's definitely on the East Coast because the plots do, some of them involve Steveston. So it is. So I bring in Steveston. Obviously, it's a real place. So I do mention the real places around it. So it's probably situated fairly close to Nanaimo, so which is where I live. So that makes sense.
Okay. so a ferry ride to the mainland.
Yeah, there you go.
I was on your website and I realized that Coffin Cove isn't the first of your series, and I think you started with nonfiction.
I did.
Yeah, so your best-selling memoir, Sober Ever After, and the follow-up, How Can I Quit Drinking? What was the transition from writing those fiction?
Well, I'd always wanted to write fiction, and I guess, but I started off with nonfiction because I had my own story to tell, and nonfiction was, I guess it was easier to tell my own story. I had something to say, and I kind of cut my teeth on self-publishing, and I'd always intended to transition to fiction, and I had always intended to self-publish it, but on a whim, I sent it off to a few publishers. My first book, which Coffin Cove, well, it wasn't called Coffin Cove when I sent it off, but
it became Coffin Cove.
It became Coffin Cove, and Joffrey Books. Well, I'm very happy to say picked it up and published it, and then after that, it kind of snowballed, and before I knew it, I was writing a series. So which has been a lot of fun.
Great, yes. Actually, something you and I share in common is the first book I ever wrote was also nonfiction. I call it creative nonfiction.
Yeah.
Like there's some details that I can't remember because it was also about my struggles with alcohol. So I guess maybe it's a good starting point to always write about what you know, right?
Yeah, no, well, it is, and certainly I learned a lot by writing those two books first. So yeah, but as I say, I'd always wanted to write fiction. I'd always had that in the back of my mind that everybody, well, not everybody, but lots of people go, oh gosh, I'd love to write a book. And I kind of had some plots in my mind. And so once I published those two and thought, oh, I can actually write this number of words. I can actually make myself sit down and write a whole bunch of words. So then I had to go at fiction, and as it's turned out, quite well. So I'm, really, really pleased about that.
Great. I was reading the blurbs, and your lead, Andy Silver, has similar demons and struggles with alcohol. Was it important for you to add that aspect to her?
Well, actually, the most important thing for me was that Andy Silvers would be a journalist. I always wanted to be a journalist. So that was part of it. And I guess as she evolved and she was going to be an outsider coming in, um, it was like a flaw which I added to her, and of course I was very familiar with that particular flaw. So I guess that was, yeah, it kind of evolved. I didn't ever set out to say I'm definitely going to write someone with someone who has a drinking problem. But as I say, it isn't a main part of her character, but it definitely is a facet of it, which and her struggles. So I'm not entirely sure where it's going to end up with her. So at the moment I don't know. So hopefully she figures it out.
Yeah, sometimes that's the joy of writing a series, right? Is we don't have to have all the answers as we go.
No,
some things just happen.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that is a fun part, right? Because you never know exactly where it's going to go, and sometimes I don't even within the plot that I have, it takes a turn which I don't expect.
Yeah.
So
another project you did is perhaps the most courageous thing is that you co-wrote a book with your husband. I couldn't imagine writing a book with my wife. We have so many creative differences. So, what was the experience of working with your husband?
Well, the thing was, it's mainly based on his fishing life, right? And fishermen tell stories, lots of them very tall tales. So actually getting him to tell me lots of stories was not hard. But and we incorporated, because he was a fisherman for many years, and he loves seafood, and I love seafood too. We made it into a cookbook with stories around it, and that really it was a fun project, because I'd really intended it to be kind of like I just want a record of some of the stuff that you've told me, and these great recipes, and family stuff as well. So it was a fun project, although I may have taken the odd creative license with some of the stories. I don't know that he is too excited about that, but but the recipes are absolutely definitely his, and we did eat our way through the book as well, so that was fun. So
That would be fun.
Yeah.
So if that's not enough, so you got 3 books in your Coffin Cove series,
Yeah.
3 and counting.
Yes.
But I also read you've got another series coming out later this year, I believe.
I'm
like
definitely
a whole new different series.
Yeah, it's a wholly different series. It's not based in Canada. It's based in London. It's a historical series, and because I very much want to get Coffin Cove books out, so I kind of go back to it in between books, and I write another 5 or 10,000 words, and then I come back to it again. So it's kind of been always on the back burner, but I'm hoping to get it out later this year. I'd really like to do that. That's another fun project, because there's lots of I really like doing the research behind it. That's fun. So I mean, there's lots of historical research as well, which is also great to do, but it's very different from the contemporary Coffin Cove novels I'm writing. So it's kind of nice to have 2 really different things on the go. If I'm kind of stuck a little bit with not sure what's happening in the Coffin Cove book, I can just walk away from it and go and work on something else. It kind of, it gives me a little bit of a break, and it's refreshing while still writing.
You definitely sound like a very disciplined writer.
No, I'm really not, actually. I mean, I'm glad that I sound like that, but no, I'm a huge procrastinator, and I like actually having deadlines is good, having a publisher is good, having not very much time is good, because I do buckle down and do it. If I have lots and lots of time, the more time I have, the less I write. So so no, I am definitely a procrastinator. And like lots of writers, I convince myself that going out for a walk and thinking about it is the same as writing, but that it absolutely is not.
I think we share a lot in common.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Well, I was on your Amazon page today, so just a little plug for everyone. I picked it up myself, the first in the series, Coffin Cove. If you want the digital version, it's only 99 cents. So the way of giving us the sample sheet and getting us hooked, right?
Yeah. Hey, the strategy is absolutely up to Joffrey Books. They've been wonderful. My first experience of working with a publisher, I have to say, giving them a plug, if anyone's out there, has been, you know, a great experience. They're a little independent publisher, not so little anymore, but so I've really enjoyed working with them.
Great. Well, it was a pleasure meeting you, Jackie. Good luck on May 26th.
Thank you very much.
And thank you to everyone watching. Have a good day.